Good evening. With the Ghana Learning Channel's News in Capsule for Wednesday, November 3, 2021, I am Kingsley Bryan. Here's a look at some of the top stories we will be covering this evening. We'll tell you that Ghana signs on to Sustainable Land Use Pact as world leaders commit to halt and reverse forest loss. Then, youth involvement increases at the Board of Industrial Training, despite the many challenges mounted by COVID-19. And the Ministry of Education receives 15 table tennis tables from China. This is the second tranche and it will be used to boost schools' sports. And in news from the region, St. Lucian appointed the Deputy Secretary General of CARICOM. Dr. Armstrong Alexis take up post from November 1. And on the international scene, new alternative to concrete is on the way. Morocco Pavilion launched at Expo 2020 in Dubai. And now for the news in detail. His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali joined over 100 world leaders in a Sustainable Land Use Pact at the United Nations 26th Conference of Parties on Climate Change, or the COP26, in Glasgow, Scotland on Tuesday. The world leaders committed to working together to halt and reverse forest loss and land degradation by 2030. The leaders of the country committed to the following. 1. They commit to conserve forests and other terrestrial ecosystems and accelerate their restoration. 2. Facilitate trade and development policies, internationally and domestically, that promote sustainable development and sustainable commodity production and consumption, that work to countries' mutual benefit and that do not drive deforestation and land degradation. 3. To reduce vulnerability, build resilience, and enhance rural livelihoods, including through empowering communities, the development of profitable, sustainable agriculture, and recognition of the multiple values of forests, while recognizing the rights of indigenous peoples, as well as local communities in accordance with relevant national legislation and international instruments, as appropriate. 4. Implement and, if necessary, redesign agricultural policies and programs to incentivize sustainable agriculture, promote food security, and benefit the environment. 5. Reaffirm international financial commitments and significantly increase finance and investment from a wide range of public and private resources, while also improving its effectiveness and accessibility. 6. Facilitate the alignment of financial flows with international goals to reverse forest loss and degradation, while ensuring robust policies and systems are in place to accelerate the transition to an economy that is resilient and advances forests, sustainable land use, biodiversity, and climate goals. This is essential to meeting the Paris Agreement goals, including reducing vulnerabilities to the impact of climate change and holding the increase in the global average temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius. It concluded that together, the world leaders can succeed in fighting climate change, delivering resilient and inclusive growth, and halting and reversing forest loss and land degradation. Then, youth involvement in the training programs offered by the Board of Industrial Training, the BIT, has increased tremendously, despite the challenges posed by the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic. This is according to BIT's Chief Executive Officer, Richard Mon. Mon said the joint venture partnerships created between the Ministries of Labour, Culture, Youth and Sport and Amerindian Affairs, as well as the human-centered approach with a focus on sustainable development programs, also played a significant role. Mon reiterated that the pandemic did not slow down the work of the entity, but rather optimized its plan to provide online classes. This includes programs recognized regionally and internationally. Since launching the online feature, the entity has been able to offer more online courses, a few of which the CEO pointed out are equivalent to Caribbean community standards. There is also a system in place to ensure BIT programs receive recognition from the Council for Technical Education and Vocational Training, CTVET. CTVET recently certified persons from a fiber optic technology course, a non-traditional occupational program offered by BIT. In July of this year, Minister Hamilton and Amerindian Affairs Minister Pauline Sukhai signed a memorandum of agreement to provide a 39.2 million skills training program targeting some 440 community support officers. So far, about 150 CSOs have already benefited from the program. And the Ministry of Education received the second tranche of 50 table tennis from the People's Republic of China through the embassy here in Guyana, aimed at promoting the sports in schools. The equipment was handed over at the National Center for Educational Research and Development, NCERD. The Honorable Minister of Education, Priya Manikchand, said that the world has moved past dividing sport and academia. She said that the Ministry of Education is working hard to incorporate sport and what used to be considered extracurricular activities into the academic curriculum because the benefits have been tremendous. Minister Manikchand further added that the 50 table tennis tables and complementary rackets and balls will go to 50 schools, and the ministry will ensure that the hinterland high schools and primary tops are the first beneficiaries since they are often left behind. The Education Minister said that the donation will bring tremendous benefit to students who are going to be exposed to the sport. During the event, an agreement was signed between the Guyana Table Tennis Association, the Ministry of Education, and the Embassy of the People's Republic of China to promote the sport in schools, the provision of additional equipment, and the establishment of training and exchange programs for coaches and players alike. And turn our attention now to the world of sports. We'll tell you that Olympian Alika Prasad and the promising Leon Seaton Jr. headlined the 9 swimmers get to represent Guyana at the Junior South American Championships from November 8 to 14 in Peru. The duo departed Guyana Wednesday morning and are joined by coaches Sean Bash and Shaika Gonzalez, while Lauren Mahaika will act as a chaperone. According to a release from the association, Guyana Mature Swimming Association Secretary Yelima Phillips will join at a later date to expand her portfolio by attending the Administrative Congress offered by CONSONAT, the South American governing swimming body. The release further indicated that the contingent was given financial support by the National Sports Commission and the Guyana Olympic Association. Additionally, the championships will also hold a solid preparation for the trio of Prasad, Seaton Jr., and Patrice Mahaika, who along with Paul Mahaika will compete at the inaugural Junior Pan American Games in Cali, Colombia from November 25 to December 5. And that story was extracted and modified from the newsroom. And in news from the region, Dr. Armstrong Alexis of St. Lucia has been appointed as the new Deputy Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM. He will take up the post from the 1st of November 2021. CARICOM noted that Alexis brings a wealth of experience to the organization as he previously worked for the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, the Commonwealth Secretariat, and in the public service of St. Lucia. Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, Dr. Carla Barnett, is pleased to have Alexis on board. In a statement, she said, open quote, he's an experienced international public servant who brings a solid record of performance at a high level. The community and the Secretariat will undoubtedly benefit from his skills and vast experience. I'm looking forward to him joining the team at the Secretariat as we continue to strive to provide effective and efficient service to the community. End of quote. And that story was extracted and modified from Caribbean News Now. And turn our attention now to the international scene. World Expos have long been a playground for architects and inventors to showcase their vision for the future. And this year's is no different. Expo 2020 Dubai, which opened its gates in October after being delayed by the pandemic, has a central theme of connecting minds and creating the future. There is a spotlight on sustainability, which after a year of global floods, droughts, wildfire, and heat waves, couldn't be timelier. The Morocco Pavilion, designed by Tariq Oulaoulou, presents a vision for more sustainable housing. Constructed of rammed earth, an ancient technique used in Moroccan villages, the pavilion offers an alternative to carbon-intensive steel or concrete. It was built using only materials found within a 5-kilometer radius of its location, Ouaoulou tells CNN. The 100-and-high-foot building in Erie centered around a courtyard like in traditional Moroccan riad homes, and the thickness of the walls helped to keep the interior up to 15 degrees Celsius, lower than outside, explains Waulaulu. This means that very few spaces in the pavilion are air-conditioned, he says. Quite remarkable in Dubai, where temperatures can soar more than 40 degrees Celsius. Not only is the pavilion built like a Moroccan village, consisting of 22 houses stacked on top of each other, connected by a single winding street, but it will also become real housing in 5 months. When the expo ends, the pavilion will be transformed into a block of apartments. The sense of community we're creating will then last longer, according to Waulaulu. And that story was extracted and modified from CNN. And that's our news broadcast for Wednesday, November 3, 2021. Please join us for a rebroadcast tomorrow morning. On behalf of myself and technical teams, thanks for watching. Please stay tuned to our regular programming. And remember to observe all the necessary precautionary methods to fight off COVID-19. And as we celebrate the Festival of Lights tomorrow, let's always embrace it so that it can eliminate the darkness. Shubh Diwali, Guyana.